Imagine sitting down at a desk, right? Just staring at this massive list of 50 new English words.
Oh, that sounds exhausting already.
Right. And you spend like 5 full hours just studying. I mean, you repeat the words, you write them down over and over, you push yourself until your eyes actually hurt.
Just forcing it?
Exactly. And then you wake up the next morning, you open your notebook, and you realize you remember exactly zero of them. Nothing.
Zero words.
And it sounds like a total nightmare. But the information we are exploring in our deep dive today shows exactly why this specific disaster is, well, it's one of the most common traps for anyone trying to learn a new language.
It is incredibly common. I mean, we see it all the time. And jumping right into that feeling of frustration is exactly why we are taking a very specific approach today.
Yeah, let's talk about that approach.
So if you are listening right now and you are an English beginner,
Ah.
this deep dive is designed specifically for you.
Just for you.
Right. We are looking at the science and the strategy of time management, but we're going to do it at a calm, steady pace.
Exactly. Nice and slow.
We're using clear, simple English today. No confusing business jargon, no rushing. We really want to create a space where you can easily follow the ideas without feeling like you have to, like, pause and look up words every 10 seconds.
I love that. We are slowing down because, well, the topic itself is about slowing down.
It really is.
We are looking at this central conflict that almost everyone faces. On one hand, you have this wonderful burning desire to learn something new. You want to master English, to connect with new people, to open up all these new opportunities.
Yeah, motivation is huge.
But on the other hand, you have the reality of the clock. You have that heavy, sinking feeling that there simply are not enough hours in the day to work, sleep, take care of your family, and somehow learn a complex new language on top of all that.
Right, and that tension, that push and pull between wanting to learn and just not having the time, it creates a very specific psychological state,
It really does.
which actually brings us to the first key vocabulary word from our materials today.
Yeah.
That word is overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. That's a big one.
It is. When you are overwhelmed, you feel like the things you need to do are just too much to handle.
You're right. Too much.
To understand it, think about standing in the ocean. The water is calm, but then you look up and you see this massive dark wave crashing right over your head.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a scary feeling.
Exactly. In that moment, you cannot breathe, you cannot swim,
Yeah.
you were just pushed under the water. That physical feeling of pressure, that is what it means to be overwhelmed.
That wave is exactly what a massive goal feels like. I mean, I want to say it directly to you listening. When you look at the idea of learning an entire language, it is completely natural to feel that wave crashing down.
Oh, absolutely natural.
A whole language feels like a giant mountain you are expected to climb in a single day. But the beauty of the strategy we are unpacking today is that it provides a brilliant, simple way to stop that wave.
It does. It really gives us a practical way to visualize our day so that the pressure just disappears.
So let's get into that visualization. How do we do it?
Well, the best way to stop feeling overwhelmed is to change how you look at time itself.
Hmm.
And the research we are reviewing provides this wonderful visual tool.
Okay, I'm ready.
Instead of thinking of your day as an endless to-do list, imagine that your time is a suitcase.
A suitcase. Like the hard plastic ones you take to the airport when you go on a holiday.
Exactly like that. Think about the physical nature of that hard plastic suitcase. It has very clear edges. There's a strict limit.
Right. You can only fit so much inside.
Yes, you can only fit a certain amount of clothing inside before it is completely full. So, the space inside that suitcase represents the 24 hours you have in your day. It is a physical container with hard limits.
I really like that visual, honestly, because it makes time feel like a real object you can hold.
It makes it tangible, yeah.
But here's where the problem usually starts for me, and probably for a lot of people listening. I open that suitcase to pack for my day, but I want to take everything.
Oh, we all do.
Right. I put in my job, my family time, my exercise routine, cooking dinner, and then I try to throw this massive language learning session right on top of the pile.
And we all know exactly what happens when you try to pack a suitcase that is overflowing.
It's a disaster.
You push down hard on the top, you sit on the suitcase, you pull the zipper as hard as you can.
Yeah, I've definitely sat on a suitcase before.
Right. And eventually, the pressure is just too great, the zipper breaks, and everything spills out onto the floor.
The broken zipper. Man, that is such a vivid way to describe what stress actually does to our day. When the zipper breaks, the whole system just fails.
Exactly. That broken zipper represents the physiological reality of stress. When you try to force too many tasks into your 24 hours, your mind and your body break under the pressure, just like that metal zipper.
Your focus fails. Your energy drops.
Exactly. So to fix this broken zipper, we have to look at another core concept today. And this is our second big vocabulary word. The word is prioritize.
Prioritize. Okay, so if the suitcase zipper is breaking, the only logical step is to take things out. You have to decide what actually matters, which is what prioritizing is all about.
Precisely. To prioritize means to treat something as more important than other things.
Making a choice.
Yes, because your daily suitcase has a hard limit, you cannot put every single activity inside. You have to stop, look at all the items sitting on the bed, and consciously choose the most important ones to put in first. You have to leave some things behind.
Okay, I understand the logic. I really do. But I have to push back gently here on behalf of anyone who feels incredibly busy.
Sure, go ahead.
What if everything feels absolutely essential? It is like going on a trip to the mountains and wanting to pack 5 heavy winter jackets.
Oh, jackets.
Yeah.
You think, well, the weather might change. I might need the red jacket. I might need the blue one. Everything feels important in the moment. How do we actually decide what deserves to go into the time suitcase and what gets left on the bed? It is a great question. Because, everything does feel important when we are stressed out. But if you pack those 5 jackets, the zipper breaks, and you do not go on the trip at all.
That's true. You're stuck at home.
Right. So to figure out how to choose, we need to look closely at what happens when we refuse to make a choice.
Okay, let's do that.
The case study we started with today, that big language learning disaster, is the perfect example of someone refusing to prioritize.
Right. The person who tried to learn 50 words in one sitting. Let's dig into that because it perfectly highlights the danger of overpacking.
So this person decided they were going to learn English very, very fast. They did not want to prioritize small, manageable tasks. They wanted the whole language immediately.
They wanted to pack everything.
Exactly. So they decided to memorize 50 new, complex English words in a single day.
I mean, 50 words is a massive amount of new data for the human brain to process at once.
It is huge. They sat down at their desk and spent 5 whole hours studying. They stared at the words, repeated them out loud, and tried to forcefully push that information into their memory.
I am guessing that after 5 hours of aggressive cramming, they woke up the next day, opened their notebook, and their brain had just dumped all of it.
That is exactly what happened. The next morning, they remembered 0 words. Not 10, not 5. 0.
Yeah.
And the psychological result was devastating. They felt like an absolute failure. They thought they were simply not smart enough to learn a language.
This raises such an important question about how we learn. Because in our minds, the math seems simple. Studying for 5 hours should mean we learn a lot of information.
It seems logical, right?
Yeah. We assume our brain is like a computer hard drive. You plug in the cable, transfer 5 hours of data, and the data stays there forever. Why does the human brain completely reject this? Why did all that effort result in 0 retained words?
Because the brain is a biological organ, not a digital hard drive. It gets tired, it needs rest, and it has hard limits on how much new information it can hold at one time.
Just like the suitcase.
Exactly like the suitcase. When you study for 5 hours straight, your short-term memory acts like a small cup placed underneath a massive fire hose.
A fire hose?
Yes. The water comes out with incredible force, but the cup fills up in 2 seconds. The rest of the water, those hours and hours of study, just spills over the sides and washes away.
Wow. A cup under a fire hose.
Mm.
That perfectly explains the feeling of reading a page in a textbook and realizing you have absolutely no idea what you just read.
Yes, your cup is already full.
Right, so the new words are just spilling over the sides. That makes so much sense.
It does, but the memory loss is really only half the problem.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah. The other reason this 5-hour approach is a disaster brings us to a major behavioral hurdle. And this is our next vocabulary word. The concept is procrastination.
Procrastination. Okay, yeah, that is a word almost everyone is painfully familiar with.
Yes, unfortunately. To procrastinate means to delay doing something that you know you need to do.
Putting things off.
Right. You know you should open your English book today, but you tell yourself, well, I am a little tired. I will do it tomorrow.
I've said that exact sentence.
We all have.
Yeah.
Then tomorrow comes and you say, I am too busy today. I will definitely do it on the weekend. You put it off.
So, how does a 5-hour study plan actually cause us to procrastinate? Shouldn't a big plan make us feel more motivated?
Actually, it does the exact opposite. When you tell yourself, I need to study for 5 hours today, Your brain perceives that massive task as a threat.
A threat, like a physical danger.
Well, it looks incredibly painful and exhausting to your brain. So the fear response in your brain activates. Because the task is so big and scary, your brain looks for safety.
And what does safety look like?
Safety usually looks like sitting on the couch, watching television, or just scrolling on your phone.
Ah, I see. So overpacking the suitcase does not just break the zipper, it stops us from even trying to pack. We look at that giant 5-hour task on our to-do list, we feel that wave of being overwhelmed, and we just run away from it entirely.
Precisely. The 5-hour goal creates fear. The fear creates procrastination. And the procrastination leads to zero progress, which makes you feel like a failure.
Yeah.
It is just a vicious, negative cycle.
Man, that's rough. So if cramming for 5 hours is like standing under a fire hose and it triggers all this fear and procrastination, how do we properly pack our daily suitcase?
That's the big question.
Right. How do we learn English, or really any complex skill, without breaking the zipper?
The materials we are exploring offer a classic piece of advice to solve this. It is framed around a very famous, slightly funny idiom in English.
Oh, I love idioms. What is it?
The idiom is, don't try to eat the whole elephant at once.
Don't try to eat the whole elephant at once. I love that image. I mean, an elephant is absolutely enormous.
Huge.
If you tried to eat the whole thing in one sitting, it would be impossible. It means you cannot accomplish a massive life-changing goal all in one single bite.
Exactly. If you want to accomplish something huge, like learning a whole language, you have to take very small, manageable bites.
Small bites. Okay.
And we are given a very specific measurement from their research for what that small bite should look like. It is called the 15-minute rule.
The 15-minute rule. Okay, explain how this works in practice.
Instead of planning to study for 5 hours and failing, you pack just one very small item into your daily suitcase. You commit to studying English for just 15 minutes.
Just 15?
Yes, but, and this is the absolute most crucial part of the strategy, you must make sure to do it every single day.
Okay, I have to act a bit skeptical here because I know the listener might be thinking.
Go for it.
Just 15 minutes. That sounds, well, it sounds way too easy to actually work. I mean, you can easily spend 15 minutes just waiting in line to buy a cup of coffee.
Very true.
Can 15 little minutes really help a beginner master something as complex as speaking a brand new language?
It is a completely fair question. When we think about becoming fluent in a language, 15 minutes seems much too small to matter. It does not feel like enough effort.
Right, it feels like we aren't trying hard enough.
But the reason it works so beautifully is because of the hidden mechanics of how our brain actually builds long-term memory. 15 minutes a day is actually far more powerful than a 5-hour session because of a concept called consistency.
Consistency. Okay, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing repeatedly.
Yes, consistency means doing the action every single day without stopping no matter what. It is described in the sources as the absolute secret sauce of learning.
Secret sauce.
Yeah.
Like a special hidden ingredient in a recipe that makes the whole meal taste amazing.
Exactly.
So consistency is the magic ingredient that makes the learning stick.
It really is. Let's go back to the brain for a second. Your brain learns much better from gentle daily reminders than from one massive stressful event.
No fire hoses.
No fire hoses. When you study for just 15 minutes, you do not overflow the cup. You give your brain a small, manageable amount of water. Then, when you sleep that night, your brain has time to process those new words and carefully move them into long-term storage.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. We avoid the fire hose entirely. We use a steady, gentle drip.
Exactly. A gentle drip. And because you do it every single day, you are constantly sending a powerful signal to your brain. Your brain notices this daily 15-minute habit and thinks, well, we are doing this every day. This information must be very important for our survival in our daily life. I need to keep these words safe.
And from a psychological standpoint, keeping the bites so small completely removes the fear, doesn't it?
Completely.
We avoid the urge to procrastinate. If I know I only have to study for 15 minutes, I do not feel overwhelmed. I do not run away to the couch because my brain knows that 15 minutes is easy. I actually open the book.
Yes. You lower the barrier to entry so much that it is almost impossible to say no.
I can do 15 minutes. Anyone can.
Exactly. And that brings us to the final and perhaps most powerful concept we need to explore today. The word is momentum.
Momentum. That is a fantastic concept, especially when we talk about changing our habits.
It is. Momentum is the physical force that keeps an object moving forward after it has already started. To visualize it, imagine a heavy ball sitting at the very top of a steep hill.
Right. When the ball is just sitting at the top, it is completely still.
Right.
It takes a lot of effort to get it moving. You have to walk up to it and give it a really hard push. But once it finally tips over the edge and starts rolling down the hill, gravity takes over. It gets faster and faster all by itself.
Exactly. The hill does the work for you. The ball has momentum.
It is exactly like pushing a heavy car.
Oh, yes. That's a great example.
Right. If your car breaks down on the road and you have to push it to the side, that very first push is brutal. It takes every ounce of strength you have.
You're sweating, you're struggling.
Yes. You have to dig your shoes into the road, push with your legs, push with your back. The friction is incredibly high. It is just exhausting.
Very high friction.
But once the tires slowly start turning and the car is finally rolling forward, the momentum takes over. Suddenly, the friction drops. You just have to walk behind it and guide it with one hand. Getting started is always the hardest part of the journey.
That car analogy perfectly explains the neurology of building a habit.
Does it really?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That initial exhausting push of the heavy car is exactly what your first few days of learning English feel like.
Yeah.
It feels hard. Your brain actively resists it.
It wants to go back to the couch.
Right. But if you stick strictly to the 15-minute rule every day, you build consistency. You start laying down new neural pathways in your brain.
So the road becomes smoother, the friction just disappears.
Exactly. Consistency builds momentum. Soon, opening your English book for 15 minutes does not feel like a difficult chore at all. It just becomes part of your day, like brushing your teeth.
You don't even think about it.
You really don't. Momentum makes the effort feel completely effortless over time. In fact, once you have momentum, it actually feels stranger to stop studying than it does to just sit down and do your 15 minutes.
That is amazing. So what does this all mean for you, our listener? Let's bring all of these pieces together to look at the big picture.
Yes, let's summarize.
We have talked about how to stop feeling overwhelmed by using a simple protective system for your day. We have one more quick, very practical metaphor from the sources to help summarize all of this. Time is like money.
Time is like money. It is a highly valuable, strictly limited resource.
Right. If you had a limited amount of money in your pocket, you would not just throw it away in the street. You are careful with it. You protect it.
Very careful.
So you should protect your time just as fiercely. Do not waste your day by breaking your suitcase with stress.
Because when you try to do too much, you trigger that fear response. You freeze, you procrastinate, and you lose the entire day.
And we know where that leads.
Yep. You end up exactly like the person who tried to cram for 5 hours and remembered absolutely 0 words the next morning.
Exactly. So the goal is to protect your time suitcase. You have to be ruthless about what you put inside it. Stick to the 15-minute rule.
Small bites.
Right. Take tiny, manageable bites of the elephant, build that secret sauce of consistency day after day, and let the physics of momentum do the heavy lifting of pushing the car for you.
Before we finish our discussion today, there is one final, very reassuring phrase I want to share.
Oh, what is it?
It is a common English idiom, to be in the same boat.
To be in the same boat. That's a good one.
Yes. It means to be in the exact same difficult situation as other people around you.
Sharing the struggle.
Right. I want to share this to reassure you listening right now. Everyone struggles with managing their time. It absolutely does not matter if you are a beginner learning English for the very first time or a busy company executive managing 100 employees.
We all have 24 hours.
Exactly. We all feel that giant wave of being overwhelmed sometimes. We are all in the same boat. You are not alone in facing this challenge.
That is such an important reminder. We really are all in the same boat trying to row through these busy, stressful waters.
We really are.
And because we are in this together, we have a specific challenge for you today to help you take back control. We want you to look at your day and ask yourself, what is the one item you are putting in your suitcase today?
Just one single item. Not 50 new vocabulary words, not 5 exhausting hours of studying. What is your one perfectly protected 15-minute item?
Right. Maybe your 15 minutes is learning just 3 new English words and really understanding how to use them. Maybe it is listening to 15 minutes of an English deep dive while you drink your morning tea.
That sounds lovely.
Pick your one item, pack it carefully into your suitcase, and zip it up securely.
Zip it up.
And as we leave you today to pack your daily suitcase, I want to leave you with one final, slightly different thought to mull over.
Ooh, What is that?
Well, we have spent all this time talking about the danger of overpacking and how to fit our goals into our day.
Right.
But imagine this, if you finally stop forcing too much into your time suitcase today
Right.
and you start protecting your limits, what beautiful, completely empty space are you leaving for tomorrow?
Wow. Empty space.
Yeah. And could that empty space, that quiet time to just rest, to breathe, to simply exist without a goal, actually be the most valuable part of your entire day?